Hello girls. So today's topic is going to be acceptance. Now earlier I taught you what is an offer and essentials of a valid offer. So now to continue with the contract act, the next topic is acceptance and the essentials of a valid acceptance. So before we see in detail what are the legal rules for a valid acceptance, we will see what is the meaning of acceptance. Now acceptance is nothing but the assent that which is given to a proposal. So what's the meaning of assent? Assent is nothing but consent. Yeah, consent is nothing but the permission. Now when one person signifies his assent to another person for the proposal which is made to him, it is said to be an acceptance. Right? So that is what is the meaning of acceptance. So now we'll see in detail the essentials of a valid acceptance. So again, like I said, what do you mean by essentials? It's nothing but certain indispensable things. You can also call it as legal rules that which is to be followed in order to validate an acceptance. Okay, to call an acceptance a valid acceptance, these are certain rules which has to be followed. Okay, certain things which has to be taken into consideration. Followed. So let's see the first rule. Acceptance must be communicated. So the first essential says when you are accepting an offer that which is made, it has to be communicated, right? So here an acceptance clearly requires that an assent must be signified. What is the meaning of signifying? Nothing but communicating. So whenever you have accepted an offer, you need to communicate your acceptance. Let me give you an example here. So there was a railway company which wanted the supply of coal for its engines, for the train engines. So that's when a company came forward and made an offer. Say the name of the company is XYZ. So the XYZ company came forward to supply charcoal, okay, to the railway company, for which they made an offer and sent a letter to the railway company. But the railway manager did not notice the letter which was there on his table, and he did not communicate his acceptance. So that's where the acceptance was not communicated, and that will not lead to a contract. Even though the offer was made, the letter was sent, okay, to give away the acceptance, the letter was not noticed and the acceptance was not given, so that will not end in a contract. So whenever you are accepting an offer, you need to communicate your acceptance to the one who made it to you, okay, who made the offer to you. Then the next rule, the next essential is acceptance must be absolute and unqualified. Okay, meaning the acceptance of a proposal with any kind of changes in the terms, conditions would not be called as a valid acceptance. However the offer was made, as it is, it has to be accepted without any kind of changes in the terms and conditions. So acceptance of a proposal with conditions, variations, reservations is not called as a valid acceptance at all. Rather, it is a counter proposal that which is made. If you remember in the previous topic, in offer, I taught you something called as counter offer. So there was a point on cross offer and counter offer. So what was counter offer? Counter offer was the rejection of the original offer, and rather it was a new offer which was made in place of the old offer, which requires the acceptance of the offeree. Okay, that is the original offerer. Now, similarly here, when an offer is not accepted as it is, it's not called a valid acceptance. Now you can take the same example which I gave you in the counter offer, wherein I told you Mr. X offered his car for rupees 5 lakhs, but Y did not want to purchase the car at 5 lakhs. Rather, he bargained and wanted to negotiate and purchase a car for rupees 4 lakhs. This is the best example for counter offer. Okay, so that's where acceptance must be absolute and it should be unqualified. It should not be changed. The terms and conditions should not be changed. Only then it's called as valid acceptance. Otherwise, it changes the entire terms and conditions of the offer. Next one, acceptance can be express or implied. Okay, an acceptance can be express or implied. Meaning, when is it express? When you are accepting a contract, an offer, you need to express your acceptance. Expressing is when you are speaking out, or rather when you are writing, okay, uh, and communicating. That's when you call it as an express contract, express acceptance. And an acceptance is implied when it is uh, not expressed, rather when it is understood by the conduct of the parties. Okay, so you can take an example here for this as well. An implied acceptance, you would have heard of something called as implied contract. So implied contract is nothing but wherein um, when you are not manifesting, you're not making any expressions, you're not expressing your acceptance, that's when it is called as implied. Say for example, when you board a public bus, okay, when you stand in a bus stop and board a public bus, it's understood that you want to travel some destination wherever the bus is going, and then you're supposed to unboard the bus in that particular destination, but provided you purchase a ticket, you take a ticket in the bus, right? So that's what is called as an implied contract. You're not speaking anything, you're not trying to enter into a contract, or you're not writing anything and taking it in writing, you're not signing and the conductor is not signing, nothing you're doing there, you're not expressing anything. Okay, no written, or no, sometimes you don't even speak words, rather than saying the conductor the destination and giving away the money, that's it. Did you understand? So it's understood that you, once you have boarded the bus, you're supposed to unboard the bus in the destination which you chose to unboard, or wherever you bought the ticket for, and you're supposed to buy a ticket. So this is what is called as implied, understood by the conduct of the party. Okay, but what is express? Express is when you are going to express your terms and conditions in the form of writing. For example, a contract of uh, like what, when you want to have a house on rent or something like that, a contract of rent. Okay, you are expressing, you are saying that so many years you're going to stay in this house, and the owner has got his own terms and conditions saying, the house should be kept neat, you pay the current bill, the water bill, and etc, etc, etc. So all this is what is called as express contract. Hope I made that clear. So an acceptance can be both, it can be express as well as it can be implied. Next one is acceptance by a definite person. Yes, this is something which is important. When an offer is made to a specific person, to a particular person, he alone should come forward and give us acceptance. Okay, so let us assume the three people in this contract, okay, in this particular example. So A, B, and C. A is interested in marrying B, so he wants to make a proposal to her, and so he makes a proposal to her, asking if she is willing to marry. So that doesn't mean C, who's a sister of B, will come forward and give her acceptance instead of B. Okay, because the offer was only made to B and not to C. Did you get me? So that is what is this acceptance to be given by the specific person to whom the offer was made. Rather, another person cannot replace, or somebody else cannot come and give his acceptance for the offer which was never made to him. Okay, next one. Let's see the next rule, the next term and condition. So the next one is acceptance must be through a prescribed or reasonable mode. Okay, I repeat, as acceptance when given, it must be through a prescribed or reasonable mode. Mode. What is the meaning of mode? First of all, the way or means in which the acceptance has to be given. That is what is called as the mode. Okay. So prescribed meaning, now for example, whenever we go to a doctor, he prescribes certain medicines. Means what? he is advising that this particular medicine has to be taken. So like that, prescribed is the required mode that which is supposed to be followed. Okay, so when an acceptance is given, it should either be according to whatever is the requirement of the party, or it should be according to a reasonable mode. Say, let us take an example here. So there was an offer which was made to one Mr. X by Mr. Y, and asking him to give his acceptance through wire reply. Okay, A makes an offer to, sorry, Y makes an offer to X and asks X to give his acceptance through wire. Wire means phone reply. So instead, what X does is he gives his reply or acceptance through a mail, okay, or rather through a telegram. So that is not called as a valid acceptance because there was a mode prescribed and that mode was supposed to be followed. So a wire reply could be either through a telephone. Probably according to this example, he required it to be given on a telephone, but rather he sent a telegram. So that's not called a valid acceptance or a reasonable mode. If nothing is made prescribed, then you can give it in a reasonable mode. Anything that which is reasonable. Okay, the next point is mere mental acceptance is no acceptance. Okay, no contract can be formed if the offerer is if the offeree is making a silent acceptance or does not show anything, does not manifest anything about his acceptance. Now, you would have all heard of one popular saying that silence is acceptance. Yeah, so popularly called in Kannada as Mauna Sammata, isn't it? So, means what? When an offer is made and if you remain quiet, when you say nothing about your acceptance, it's a myth with the society that it is a acceptance, especially now. Say for example, in Indian society, whenever an offer of marriage is made to a girl, and if the girl remains quiet about it, does not say anything, just stays quiet, remains silence, it is accepted. It is understood as an acceptance. That's what I said, Mauna Sammada. But according to the court of law, it's not that way. Your acceptance should be expressed, it should be manifested by either speech or written, oral, something. Okay, by some other act, you need to express that you have provided your acceptance. If you are not expressing, if you're silent about it, it's not called a valid acceptance. Next one, an acceptance when offer is in force. So this is another important rule to be followed when you're giving your acceptance. You should give your acceptance whenever the offer is in force. So what is this in force? Nothing but talking about the time limit. Okay, so when the time is required to be kept in mind, or rather there is a time limit which is given for your acceptance, you have to give your acceptance within that particular time limit. So these are more popular when, like for example, they make in shops, sometimes they make offers, isn't it? Diwali offer, New Year offer, like this, Dasara offer. They make offers and they give you a time limit. Within the time limit, if you go and purchase only, you will get the discount. If you go even a day after that particular time limit, it's not an acceptance. So that's what is called as acceptance when offer is in force, right? So that's about acceptance when offer is in force. The next one is acceptance must be preceded by offer. Here the point says acceptance must not precede an offer, meaning what is preceding, coming before. Okay, so previous is otherwise called as preceding, meaning to say here only when an offer is made you can give your acceptance. Okay, without an offer being made you cannot give your acceptance. So that's what is first offer, and then only offer comes and then only acceptance should be given. Acceptance given and then offer made is not a valid acceptance. So that's about the essentials or the legal rules that is to be kept in mind when you are going to give your acceptance to a particular offer that which is made, right? So if even one of these rule is not followed, then it will not validate your acceptance. Thank you.